This is it when we found to Jerusalem in 1967. This is the plaza of the Western Wall. This is the building that we will see above us, will be above us. It's called Mahkama. It's a courthouse from the time of the Mamelukes. Let's get this building away from here just for a second. And we'll see where we are. We are over here in this arch. We're going to go all the way to the Western Wall. Under this level, there's another level. Down here, there are many mikvehs. You don't know what a mikveh is? A mikveh is a ritual bath. A ritual bath that Jews have to use before they go to the temple. They have to purify themselves. That's why we found more than 160 ritual baths around this area. Around this area. Fine? This is it, guys. One more picture to show all the length from here to here, 1,500 feet. From here to here, there was a very big fortress called Antonia, named after Mark Antony. You know Mark Antony? Mark Antony, very famous Caesar, married a very beautiful woman. Her name was Elizabeth Taylor, no? Yeah. All right. You ready to go? Let's go. You don't have no question? You have questions? Yeah. After many years in the diaspora, 2,000 years we were around all over the world. Some of us are still there, but the majority of the Jewish people now are in Israel. The first time in the history for many, many years that the majority of the Jewish people is at home. And now we understand something very, very interesting. You know that between 1948, when we got our so-called independence, that was 1948, we did not have the most important thing, which is Jerusalem. Jerusalem was taken by the Jordanians, and that's why we were not able to enter the old city of Jerusalem between 1948 and 1967. That sounds very good in your ears. We were not able to enter. But for me, a boy of 14 years old of my life, I'm living 500 meters, less than half a mile from here, less than half a mile, and I'm not able to enter the old city of Jerusalem, and I'm not able to go to the Western Wall that I've heard so much about for 14 years of my life, because I was born 53, so 1967 is 14 years. And then on 1967, by the way, until that time, and you understand that until that time, until 1967, everybody else was putting his hands in Jerusalem. I'm talking archaeology. Archaeologists digging Jerusalem for ages, 19th century, 20th century, they dig. They dig Jerusalem, they go in the Shiloh, they take a wall, something was written on the wall, they put it in their museum. There are many things, and in the British Museum, the British dug here, put in the British Museum. In the American museums, there are also many things that were taken from Jerusalem, and nobody wants to give it back. That's very kind of them. But for us, the first time to dig in Jerusalem, the possibility was 1967. 1967 was the first time that Israeli archaeologists could dig here. You know what it means? No, you don't know what it means. Because you know, until 1967, when tourists came to Jerusalem, until 1967, what could we show them? So you know, we built a nice little city of Jerusalem in the time of the Second Temple. This was in a very nice place in Jerusalem. Once upon a time, it was a very nice place. It was called Holy Land. There was a very nice model of the old city of Jerusalem in the time of the Second Temple, but then since then they did a lot of terrible things in that place. And it's now moved. Now you can see it to the Israel Museum. So what? That's what you can show. Now, when 67, when we came to Jerusalem and we started to dig, I tell you, the archaeologists got under the ground. Some of them are still there. Don't take it seriously. There was only a metaphor. You know what I mean? They wanted so much to dig. And this is a little example, and that's why I brought it to this room. We made this path that you're standing on 8 months ago. 8 months ago, we built this. We had to do it because we need for people with wheelchairs, strollers, and people it's very difficult for them to walk the stairs, to make a path for them. So we had to dig down because we had to put these big logs here in order to support this. And we dug down 10, 12 feet. And what did we find down below? We find a floor. Oh, how old is this floor, do you think? Come on, give a guess. 2000 is always the best number to say. You're right, it's 2,000 years old. And how do we know it's 2,000 years old? We know because we lifted those stones. That's exactly how you find out. We lifted the stones and we found what's below. And we found down below them, we found coins. Coins always give you a date. Coins that are from the time of a king called Agrippas. Agrippas is Herod's grandson, and he was ruling Jerusalem 41 to 44. So this is the floor from 41 to 44. And that's why just building this path, you know, not digging for, looking for it. we found other things. You know, fellows, we are not digging here in order to find any proofs for the fact that this land belongs to us. Or we don't need that. But when we find things, sometimes it's really sweet. You know, outside there, in the plaza of the Western Wall, we found a seal that has the name Bibi Netanyahu on it. That was also it. But we did find a coin with the name Netanyahu ben Yoash. It's dated to 2,600 years ago, if I'm not wrong. No. Yes. Time of the first temple. Time of the first temple. And that's why I say Jerusalem is built like a chocolate cake. You know, a chocolate cake is made out of layers, one on top of the other. And I say that the deeper you go, the sweeter it gets. And we're going to eat some more cake. Let's go. This arch, as you look above, this is also one of the arches that are supporting the big bridge, but here you can see something very well. This arch is a Byzantine arch. That arch over there is the Roman arch. Both arches together is how wide was the big bridge. And you can see how big it was. It was a very, very big bridge. The archaeologist who's done here, his name was Professor Dan Baha. He said that on top of that bridge, on that part of the bridge, was a little capella, Christian capella. And those stones that you see, if you see, take a look over there, that table, the stones underneath that table were found up above, and that were a part of that capella. He says so. Not everybody agrees with that, but that's among archaeologists. The bridge, as I said to you, was going up to the Jaffa Gate. What was there up the Jaffa Gate? What is there now in the Jaffa Gate? Do you know what is there? There's a big tower there. It's called the Tower of David. Do you know that it has nothing to do with David, of course, yes? It has nothing to do with David. So the idea is that there were many people who lived since David here, and some people forgot things and didn't know things and wrote down things that they don't know, and that's why it's called the Tower of David. An archaeologist, okay, let's not go into this, it's really not very important. The idea is this, that up there was a very big tower. It was a tower that King Herod built. And the King Herod built 3 towers actually there because he wanted to protect his palace was there. And he said if Herod built the most beautiful temple in the world, and they say if there was something more beautiful than a temple was his palace. They said that the yard of his palace was rubies. So it didn't need 3 towers to protect it, I guess. That's why he built it. 3 towers, one was named after his brother, which is called Fatzael. One was called after his friend that was called Hippikos, and the third one was built after his wife that he loved very much. And as I said, he killed her, so I guess he wanted to remember her by building a tower. That's what he did. But the bridge was going all the way up there. And that means that the king is the one who used the bridge, and the priest that lived close to the king also. And the most important thing that was on top of this bridge is the water that came to Jerusalem. And that's something that we don't want to forget, because Jerusalem has no water. It's very difficult to get water. There's only one spring at the Shiloah. That was when the city of David, when it started to expand and to grow, we needed more water, so people built themselves cisterns to get rainwater. That's beautiful when there is rain. And for the city that serves a temple and a king, we need more than that. So that's why we had to bring water from very far away. Far away is how far away? It's about 25 kilometers from Jerusalem. That's about 17 miles. 17 miles distance, but what's the difference in heights? 0. Actually, it's not really 0, it's 30 meters, 90 feet, which is 0 when you do that. We take the length with the height. You understand what it says? The angle will be 0.01. Water was brought to Jerusalem, although there was almost no angle to bring the water down, already 2,200 years ago by Hashmonaim. And that's a water aqueduct that served Jerusalem from 2,200 years ago until about 50 years ago. Which shows us that these people who lived 2,200 years ago did have the brains to build a bridge, and also had technique to do it. We see that in fact, this arch, this water aqueduct still exists. It's still there. Parts of it are still to be seen. And we know the aqueduct that Hezekiah built down there in Shiloh, which is absolutely a miracle when the tunnel was dug underneath the mountain from both sides of the mountain to hit the same spot. So when we speak about things like this, don't forget these people are not primitive. They were not primitive. We call them sometimes this name. We make a big mistake by doing that. Looking down here, over here, if you look through that window from that angle, from where the man stands over there, we're all filled with water. Could be used. Okay. Follow. The arches above us, very big. What is the purpose of these arches? These arches are the Mamluk arches. And I told you, when the Mamluks come here, they want to build their houses close to the Dome of the Rock. They build arches, and on top of them, they build the houses on top of these arches. Is that building I showed you on the mall that is called Mahkamah, which is a court. That building is still on top of these arches, and that's exactly the purpose of these arches. One might think this is a big place made for weddings. No, it was not. When we found this was full of garbage and filth and dirt that we had to take out. It was not used for anything. Only for the big building that is on top. That is called Mahkamah, again I repeat. And today it is possessed by the IDF. For the simple reason that it looks over the Temple Mount. And you know, we need water in Jerusalem. Sometimes it rains, and we like the rain very much. Sometimes it rains stones. And that's why the IDF is up there, to protect us with his umbrellas. Okay, over here, until about a year ago, was a very big model. Under this arch was a very big model with a nice little amphitheater for every group to go inside. You see the model of a temple. It was a very nice model, but it got old. They took it out to be repaired, and meanwhile they decided to dig, and that's it. They found a new hole behind that wall, which is about 2 times the size of this. Gigantic, and now they're going to build there, on top, on the upper part of this arch, there's going to be marhaba. They're going to build a synagogue on top, and down below there's going to be again the amphitheater with the model of the temple. That will come soon, we hope, and meanwhile we continue. This is the Western Wall. That means it's a continuation of the wall that is over there, in that direction. If you look over there from here, if you climb up the stairs, behind that door, people are standing there praying. And if you're looking at this, you'll understand probably a little better. The wall starts in the south, like I said, it's there. This is the southern wall, so that's where it starts. This is the western wall. There is the Robinson Arch, if you know what I'm talking about. This is the plaza of the western wall. This is the plaza, and this is the big bridge that we were underneath just a few minutes ago. So we just passed it, and that's where we are. Look here, you can see very well. You know that at the plaza of the western wall, you see stones that don't look so much like this. You can step on the side here, over there. Here, very good. So people were able to see. I want you to see the shape of these stones. All the stones around the Temple Mount, all of them look like this. Each one of them had a frame. Each one of them. The stones had to be chiseled to be flat like this and not like this. You're looking at these stones, you understand what they had to do. They had to chisel every stone to be so flat like this, and that was done already in the quarry. And then it was brought over here, and these lines were chiseled. Using, of course, different chisels. We found them. Down here, not so long ago, about a few months ago, down here we found the chisels. Small, big, bigger, etc., etc. People sitting 10 years chiseling stones to get this framework. The wall, this stone that you see over here is 1.5 tons. You can ignore the hole here in the center. This little stone is 1.5 tons. This stone over here is a double stone. This is 3 tons. The wall goes down 45 feet. Hits the road. What road? The big center, the Mamila, the mole, the Wall Street. The Herodian Street is down below. Right? Down below, that's the bedrock line. 45 feet down below. And from down there, all the way up in the town where the temple was standing up there, the wall was 120 feet. You get an idea? If you don't get an idea, I'll give you an idea now. Just for a second. 1 second. Can you help me for a second? Batsheva and Stephen are standing on the two sides of the largest stone here. Batsheva and Stephen are standing on the sides of one stone that is 42 feet long. 42 feet long, the height of this stone was from right here all the way up 12 feet. It was, it's not anymore because it was broken, and it goes inside 15. Hello, where did it go? Where's the worker? Okay. 12, it goes inside 15 feet. The weight of this stone was, when it was put here, the weight of this stone was 570 tons. Thank you very much, Stephen. Did you get that number right? 570 tons, one stone. That's the weight of one big jumbo plane. Full of people, all the luggage, everything they bought at a duty free, all together. What? How did they put the luggage in a duty free? What? What? What about it? How did they put the stone here? What the problem? I don't understand what he's talking about. Just a minute. Okay, you got the number? Besides, I'm the one who's asking this question. I'm the one who's asking questions, not you. What do you think? I don't know that you asked me this question. How did they bring the stone here? What do you mean by that? They brought it with a... How did they bring the stone here? How did they bring the stone here, fellows? Come on. I'm challenging, really. How did they bring the stone here? And think, don't just answer angels or the stone was here. No.
They rolled it.
Huh?
Rolled it.
Rolled it? Rolled it?
If you have tree trunks.
Tree trunks?
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, they roll it on trunks, right.
Yeah, okay.
On bulls, yeah? You're right. They rolled it on the bulls. He's right. Let him up, let him up. So we know that the quarry was in the north, as I explained to you, right? So from there, which is about 600 feet from here, or maybe 700 feet because the wall is not so much longer, they rolled it, like I said, on logs. Fine. Maybe they needed to pull it back a little bit before they don't roll too fast, because coming from all the way up there down to 45 feet down below, they would have smashed everything, so maybe bulls were trying to hold it, right? Maybe. Okay, so let's say they brought it down here. Finally, it's down here, 45 feet down below, sir. From down there, yes, the girl is right. How did they bring it here? Let them pass. Please leave the path open. Thank you very much. Okay, so what do you say now? Now, tell me the answer. No, the hole has nothing to do. It's much later. Come on. What is the answer? It is very simple, actually. Yes. Probably, yeah. A bunch of people is a good answer. But what did they do with them? No. Yeah, they needed the people. Maybe they needed animals. But how did they bring it? Yes, sir.
With